The Solar Hunter build I will be covering in this video has way more viability and versatility than what I see most content creators talking about. We are going to be going over a build that utilizes the young Ahamkara spine, a hunter exotic that comes with the exotic trait Wish Dragon Teeth, stating increases trip mine grenade duration and blast radius, along with dealing ability damage, grants trip mine grenade energy. Now, to say that this hunter exotic buffs the hell out of the trip mine grenade would be an understatement. I should be showing you all of the stats for what young Ahamkara spine does on screen for you right now, and while yes, this is a high damage and infinite solar ability build for hunters, it can come with the addition of infinite restoration as well if you spec for it, and that alone nearly doubles the viability of the entire build to levels that make me understand the nerf that is coming down the pipeline to this exotic. When this nerf does hit Destiny 2, it will hurt Ahamkara's spine's overall damage output for single target damage, only because when the nerf is in effect, you can only receive grenade energy back per enemies defeated with solar abilities. So in gist, if you are in any situation that has adds around, you will hardly know the difference, because you will just be targeting the adds with your melee ability. Your melee ability can instantly refill itself if you keep getting kills with it, as long as it's paired with the right aspects and fragments, and then using your grenade just for the tankier enemies. And while you're in the combat loop that I will be teaching you in this video, you will be spawning fire sprites that can apply restoration to you. While restoration is applied with Ember of Empyrean, along with your grenades and melee ability being spammed every second, it will make it to where your restoration lasts forever, meaning it is nearly impossible to die with this build. With that said, even if the nerf was inbound or not, I do believe the ability to have infinite restoration on any build is a must, because the only thing more important than the capability to do high amounts of damage is the ability to be alive to do the high amounts of damage. Now, before we get into this build, if you enjoy this video, a quick like and subscribe down below would be highly appreciated. It takes only a moment out of your day and it helps out the channel a lot. Getting into the build now, we will be starting off by going over the solar subclass. The super I'll be going with is Blade Barrage, not only for the reason that it is the highest damaging super on the solar subclass, but also for the reason that it's a one-off super and I've just more preferred one-off supers rather than the ones that linger a little bit. For my dodge, this is a very important part, but we have a gambler's dodge. Though it's important, it's not crucial, especially when the Ahamkara spine nerf comes in. It's more of a contingency for if you don't get a kill with your melee ability, you can dodge and get round 2 with your throwing knives. Now for your melee ability, I went with a knife trick, but you can honestly choose whatever you want. To elaborate further, getting over here into one of our solar aspects, with knock 'em down, it states here at the bottom that while you are radiant, final blows with your equipped throwing knife will fully refund your melee energy. Now if you were to run knife trick or proximity explosive knife, you need Ember of Torches, for it states that powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant. If you run the lightweight knife or weighted throwing knife, you actually don't need Ember of Torches at all. Lightweight knife comes with a built-in way to become radiant, which is just by landing a headshot, and weighted throwing knife will refund your class ability immediately if you land a headshot, making it to where your melee and class ability will just feed into each other. These two do come with a skill gap, of course, but if you want ease of use, knife trick along with Ember of Torches is just the easiest way to go. Now I'm gonna go over this part really quickly. For all the veterans out there that already know this, don't worry, I got you. Currently, knife trick is the best melee to use with Ahamkara's spine, for the reason that all 3 of the knives count as their own individual ability attack, which return grenade energy back even faster. So for right now only, knife trick is the best option. After the nerf, you can choose whatever you want, because you'll only need kills from that point on. Moving on from melees now, of course you have to have the trip mine grenade, and for my aspects I have on your mark just for the 3 fragment slots that it provides, and knock 'em down for the reason that radiant will fully refund my melee energy, and it kinda buffs your super. I'm kidding, it's actually a very goated part about it. Alright, now for the fragments. As we already said before, be Ember of Torches. My melee makes me radiant. While I am radiant, if my melee ability defeats an enemy, it will give me my melee ability back immediately. Now the rest of these fragments are devoted to just giving you the infinite restoration. So first and foremost, a way to spawn the fire sprites. This will be with Ember of Searing. Defeating scorched targets grants melee energy and creates a fire sprite. In gist, it should just say by defeating an enemy with a solar ability, because that's essentially what you will be doing the whole time. There's also Ember of Tempering if you want to experiment with that one. It simply states that solar weapon final blows create a fire sprite. Use Sunshot. There you go. Moving on, with Ember of Mercy, we are going to equip our fire sprites with the ability to grant us restoration. On pickup, it only grants 2 seconds of base restoration, which is more than enough time that we need in order to utilize our next fragment, Ember of Empyrean, which states that solar weapon or ability final blows extend the duration of restoration and radiant. And the name of the game is to spam as much trip mines and throwing knives as you can, so it's just like clockwork. With all that said, it is just tier 1 restoration, which is decent enough. But to further help out, we do have Ember of Resolve, which states that solar grenade final blows cure you. Where restoration will just constantly heal you, cure will just give you that jump in the health. Moving on to the mods, believe it or not, some of these are actually important. You can pause and just copy the build right here as you see, but we will be going over these very shortly, meaning right now. So going over the headpiece, we have a harmonic siphon for orb creation and 2 ashes to assets mods, just to get our super back relatively quickly, because the only thing better than spamming grenades is spamming supers. Onto our arms, we do have a firepower mod to let our trip mines spawn orbs as well, and a focusing strike mod that states you will be granted class ability energy when you cause damage with your melee attack. And since we are lacking the ability to gain class ability through our subclass, we need to find another way to get that back. So melee damage is one of those ways. Moving on to the chest piece, it is just your standard defense mods. Do what you need here, but we are now moving on over to the legs piece. On here we have an insulation and a recuperation mod. For every time we will be picking up an orb of power, not only will we be getting class ability energy, but we will also be getting a bump in the health on top of all of our other avenues of healing. And a stacks on stacks mod, which will help out with our mods that we have on our class item, which we'll be going over now. On here we have a powerful attraction mod to help gather orbs much easier, along with a utility kickstart to give us a bump in our class ability the second we use it, and a special finisher mod. This one is completely optional, I just never take it off. Now that you have the basic idea for the build, it's time to teach you how to properly use it. And the rotation that you should be using for everyday encounters would be to start off with your grenade. This will spawn a fire sprite as well, so do make sure to pick that up in order to start your restoration up. Then follow up on any enemy by using your melee ability. This would then feed into your grenade just enough for it to be used, and essentially starting the process all over again. So grenade, then melee, then grenade, rinse and repeat. Your melee will come back just based off of the build composition you have. And the Ahamkara Spine exotic trait will convert your melee damage into grenade energy. If you miss a knife or just don't do enough damage to defeat the enemy, that's no worries at all. Just hit your dodge near the enemy and get right back to it. Now, as a very quick disclaimer, while you are getting kills with either solar abilities or solar weapons, and Ember of Empyrean is stacking up that restoration timer, if you were to pick up another fire sprite from that point, it will drop your timer all the way down to 2 seconds again. I'm gonna consider it a bug, maybe it will be patched someday, but you shouldn't have to worry about it too much, because with how knee deep you will be in combat with this build, enemy defeats come within seconds of each other, thus equating to your restoration still having an uptime of 100%. Now I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and if you have, again, a like and subscribe down below would be very much appreciated. I'll see you all in the next one, so take care and peace.